for tuning in. Hi, I'm Beth Keener from HXGN TV. Through an entire surveying, mapping, and construction project, accurate and up-to-date 3D data of the area are crucial. For planning and designing, users need accurate as-is information. The more complete the data set, the more efficient the plan will be. The Leica iBot, together with the Infinity Geospatial Office software suite for measurement professionals, form a complete UAV solution with data updates whenever they're needed. Today, we have Valentin Fuchs, Leica Geosystems UAV Business Director, and Kevin Hansen, who is Infinity Senior Product Manager. They're both here with us to discuss how you can be sure you can trust the data you've collected with a UAV. Well, guys, we appreciate you joining us today. How are you doing?
We are good. Thanks, Beth.
Wonderful.
Good,
You
Beth,
look
thank
great.
you.
I'm glad you got dressed up for us. Well, Valentin, I'd like to start with you. UAVs have been called the democratization tool for geospatial data. Since they offer fast access, are becoming easier to operate, and cost a fraction of other data collection methods to operate, I want you to tell us how Leica iBot turns data into intelligent information so that we can improve decision making.
So we see UAVs as well. We see the Leica iBot as a complete solution to provide actionable information. We actually would like to push the boundaries a bit more, and it's not just about the data to action on; it's about trusted data to action on. So we see it from that perspective that there's a lot of systems out in the market who provide data, but the benefit of Leica Geosystems within the iBot space, and also thanks to Infinity, we are able to provide actionable data that you can trust with. And thanks to the good processing power from Infinity, we are able. I think we can provide additional benefits to our clients to use these data in their application and workspace.
And there's a correlation with that and then better decision making.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the next question I have for you also, Valentin, is what type of data can Leica iBot gather in one single survey?
So for surveying applications, we typically collect raw information, so raw data, which are then post-processed in the office. However, in this case, we also pushing the boundaries that the post-processing time is reduced as much as possible. So we actually generate data such as images or GPS data, IMU data, and we process them further on within Infinity. So the data, what we actually receive at the end of the day are point clouds, which is known from the laser scanning applications, and that's the basis for any actions to take care of. And in addition, we have orthophoto, and the third part is a mesh, so a digital terrain model, a digital surface model that we can use, for example, for data for comparison of volumes, for example.
Wow. Well, thank you, Valentin. I'd like to move on to Kevin, who Valentin has said earlier is the software guy. So,
That's where
Kevin,
it all happens.
say that again.
It's where it all happens.
It's where it all happens, right? The
Sometimes.
man with the plan. Kevin, how can UAV data be combined with existing survey technologies such as TPS, GPS, and laser scanning?
Beth, it's a good question. Good morning.
Thank you. I wish I wrote it.
I think you did, didn't you? Well, actually, it's a really good question. In the context of the big picture here, where we're talking about, it's really disgruntled or disconnected situation from all the softwares which exist today that generate and utilize this data. So what Infinity is doing is bringing this information all together.
Okay.
We have terrestrial sensors, we have GNSS sensors, we have the laser scanners. And at the moment, when you're processing a third party, you're completely out there somewhere. And the whole goal is that you want to bring this data together somehow, or you want to utilize the fact that this data is complementary or part of that whole processing step. So Infinity puts it all together. And so when you import this UAV data, you can leverage total station data as an example for source, for control. GNSS is very an integral part for the UAV flights, also for the checkpoints and control points. And normally at the end of the day, you also want to bring all this data together to a point cloud, which is probably also consistent of laser scanning. So how do you make sure you put it all together is in one place? And then there you can leverage Infinity for the different, I guess, project scope you have to deal with. So every project is different. The tools you want in that project are a little bit different. So It's just natural. You bring it all together in one spot, and the tools are there, so you can make sure the data gets you something that you can use and you can trust.
Absolutely.
Uh,
So Kevin, where does UAV data fit into the life cycle of surveying projects?
yeah, it's also a good question because depending on the project, it'll vary. So you can have a 5-year project that starts from first thinking about what's going to happen. So you make a flight, and maybe out of that you just use the orthophoto, which is one of the data deliverables, and you use that to think about things. So maybe a year later, after some design considerations have taken place, then the next step might be some moving the dirt, moving some ground, establishing the framework for the building that's going to be built or the road that's going to be placed. Then you start to fly more often, probably keeping track of what's going on. So day-to-day progress, or if you need to check volumes, how much did I move? Did something change? So that's always during the life cycle of a project. And then when you're done, you fly it again, and that's what's finished. So you got a nice picture of what's completed. So all depending on the scope of the project and time.
Absolutely.
Uh,
All right, I do have another question for you, Kevin. Can you tell us more about Infinity Geo? What or how Infinity Geospatial Office software supports UAV workflows?
okay. So Infinity itself, we're fitted into this survey, construction, building and construction segment focus. So here then we use a UAV in conjunction with our sensors to exploit this from a working tool in these segments. So we're definitely focused not on everything where UAVs can be used, but specifically for surveying, for accuracy, considerations for how good is some information. You can integrate that into your survey work, construction, volume calculations, checking differences day to day. So that's there. And then the as-built, the completion. So once things are finished, you have something that's documentable and saved and stored, and that's your evidence for when you can fall back to and check things are done.
Okay.
So,
And can we talk about deliverables as well? What are deliverables that Infinity users can generate from UAV data?
yeah, that's pretty standard actually. So the very first input is actually a set of images. So those are accessible. It's like the raw data.
Right.
Some of them are very nice pictures, some are not so nice, but they're all there. It depends, right? Depends on the drone, actually.
That's up to you, Valentin.
Exactly.
We provide the best drones.
Yeah, it's easy, yeah? And then the next step is to bring that data together to derive a point cloud.
Okay.
And a point cloud could be huge. So what we want to do there is we make it accessible, we know it's accurate, reliable. Then we either push it upstream or downstream, say to JetStream or like a CloudWorks products,
Yeah.
where they can be consumed. So very complementary to our other basket of products. Or you can continue into Infinity and then generate a surface model. And that's something more tangible for a lot of softwares. So you can use that for a simple representation of the 3D representation of the work area. And it's also what you would use for calculating volumes or checking differences between, say, design and what was measured. So that's the second step. And then the last one is the orthophoto. So a true rectified orthophoto then is the nice image of putting everything together, making it geospatially correct. So when you look down at it, you see, one, how nice it is, but two, how correct everything was laid out and things, if they fit or don't fit. And it's then your last real documentation of that project scope or project aspect.
Great. All right. Well, I'm going to move back over to Valentin. I've got a great question for you. I'm about to look down and pick it up off the page. So big hype has been in the market about putting a lot of focus on UAV as a silver bullet and a solution to all data needs. Can UAVs really replace other technologies, Valentin?
That's a good question. Huh?
That's a good question, and it's also an interesting question within the Leica geosystems and hexagon geosystem space, because we have all these nice products, all these great products, and we see UAV as a great complementary product and an add-on to the existing workflows. So actually, UAV is using currently existing technologies, and we just bundle it in a different way and make them fly. So just such as GPS, IMU data, camera data, we have them all available. It's just a matter of now we package it and we automate a lot of things and we make them accessible from the air. So let me make three things about replacement. So one thing is I think there is some workflows which we can replace with UAVs. Second is there are some add-ons where existing technologies fit perfectly to UAV workflow. And third part is there are new workflows, new applications where UAV can fit on, where we haven't had anything before. So replacement technologies, it could be like, so for example, when you have done a topographical survey, a large topographical survey, so in the past it's very time consuming with existing technologies. With UAV, you fly over, you create a digital terrain model in a very simple way. And so therefore it could replace existing workflows. But that leads me to the second part as an add-on. So within this topographical survey, you have some blind spots, you have some areas where UAV data are, where you don't have access to UAV data. So these can be filled with existing technologies. And the third party is with new workflows. So UAV with remote sensing, you can have access to areas where you don't have, so unsecure areas. So you just fly over and generate the data. So it's a safe place.
So you're saying where there wouldn't be a physical presence.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
You would be able to fly over.
Exactly. Yes. Or so in hazardized environment, or even on a stockpile. Think of you want to know the size of your stockpile, and you have to walk up 20 meters to measure the point on top. That's not feasible, or this is very dangerous. And so all of these areas, and now I have to make the bridge again to infinity. And within the ecosystem, within Leica Geosystems, all of these technologies then can be merged within Infinity or within the Leica Geosystems ecosystem. With Cyclone, for example, all of these data can be put together. So I think from that perspective, Leica so the UAV it's a perfect tool for enhancing existing technologies, enhancing existing workflows and applications, and that at the end of the day, the customers have trusted data to action on.
And safety.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. We've learned a lot today. We appreciate you taking some time with us.
Thank you,
This is Valentine and Kevin. For more information about today's topic, visit leica-geosystems.com. To listen to additional episodes or learn more, visit hxgnspotlight.com. Thank you for tuning in.